November 13th, 1942. Lyon, France. Midnight. The streets are slick with rain, reflecting the dim glow of blackout lanterns like shattered mirrors. A woman limps through the alleyways, her wooden leg thudding softly against the cobblestones, a sound that could betray her at any moment. She's clutching a crumpled map under her coat, her breath coming in sharp, controlled bursts. Behind her, the wail of Gestapo sirens pierces the night. This is Virginia Hall. Code name, Diane. The Allies' most daring spy in occupied France. And right now, she's one wrong turn away from a firing squad. She pauses at the corner, heart pounding, listening. Footsteps echo from the shadows, Nazi patrols closing in. She adjusts her prosthetic, the one she calls Cuthbert, and slips into a doorway. The cold seeps through her wool coat, but fear keeps her warm. One mistake, and it's over. But how did an American woman with a wooden leg become the Gestapo's nightmare? The one they dubbed the Limping Lady, their most wanted enemy, with a bounty on her head worth a fortune in Reichsmarks? Let's step back. To understand the hunt, we have to go to the beginning. To a time before the war, when Virginia Hall was just a girl with dreams bigger than the world would allow. Born in 1906 in Baltimore, Maryland, Virginia grew up on a farm, riding horses, shooting rifles, defying every expectation of what a proper lady should be. Her father, a banker turned movie theater owner, encouraged her wild spirit. Her mother? Not so much. But Virginia didn't care. She craved adventure, the kind that took her far from the safety of American soil. She studied languages at Radcliffe and Barnard, French, German, Italian. Then off to Europe. Paris, Vienna, Warsaw. She landed a job with the U.S. State Department as a clerk. Boring paperwork in embassies. But it was a foot in the door. Literally. Then came the accident. September 1932. Turkey. Virginia, now 26, is out hunting partridge with friends. She climbs over a fence, shotgun in hand. Her foot slips. The gun discharges. Boom. The blast shreds her left foot. Gangrene sets in. Doctors amputate below the knee. She's fitted with a wooden prosthetic, crude, heavy, unyielding. Pain becomes her constant companion. Walking is agony at first. But Virginia. She doesn't break. She rebuilds. Back in the States, she applies for the Foreign Service. They reject her. Disabled, they say. Unfit. The sting of that word fuels her fire. She heads back to Europe, driving ambulances for the French in 1940 as Hitler's tanks roll in. France falls. Virginia escapes to London, burning with rage. That's where the B story intersects with destiny. Enter the Special Operations Executive, SOE. Churchill's secret army of saboteurs. They're desperate for agents who can blend in, organize resistance, blow up bridges. Virginia walks in, limps in, and demands a job. They laugh at first. A woman. With a peg leg? But she speaks flawless French. She's tough as nails. They train her. Parachuting, Morse code, silent killing. She masters it all, even with Cuthbert dragging her down. Cut back to Lyon, 1942. Virginia, now Marie, has been in France for over a year. She's built networks from scratch. Safe houses in attics, forged papers in basements. She's the linchpin for escaped Allied pilots, funneling them out via the Pyrenees. Tonight, it's all unraveling. Her radio operator, Dennis, has been captured. Tortured. He might crack. The Gestapo knows about the Limping Lady. Posters everywhere. Wanted, American woman, walks with limp. Extremely dangerous. She darts across the street, rain pelting her face like needles. A truck rumbles by, German soldiers inside, rifles at the ready. She presses against a wall, invisible in the fog. Her mind races. Get to the safe house. Warn the others. Destroy the codes. But the pain in her stump is screaming. Every step grinds bone against wood. Sweat mixes with rain. She bites her lip to stay silent. Flash to the B story. Why her? Why this relentless drive? It goes back to that rejection. The State Department called her broken. The war gave her a chance to prove them wrong. In London, she met Vera Atkins, WWII's spymaster for F Section. Atkins saw the fire in her eyes. "You'll do," she said. Training was hell. Parachute jumps with a fake leg? She nailed them. Explosives handling? Precision perfect. And the psychological prep, if captured, hold out 48 hours. Then the cyanide pill. Virginia scoffed. "I won't get caught." Now, in Lyon, she's testing that vow. She reaches the safe house, a dingy apartment above a bakery. Knocks the code, 3 short, 1 long. The door creaks open. It's Philippe, a local resistor. His face is pale. "They took Arnaud." Gestapo everywhere. Inside, the room smells of stale bread and fear. Maps on the table, radio hidden in the floorboards. Virginia limps to the window, peeking through curtains. Shadows move outside. Are they watching? She turns to Philippe. "Burn everything. We leave at dawn." But dawn is hours away. And the sirens are getting louder. To grasp her edge, we cut to the invention of her world, the shadowy realm of espionage tech. In the 1930s, as Hitler rose, Allied intelligence scrambled for gadgets. Virginia's SOE kit, lipstick pistols, exploding rats, invisible ink. But her real weapon? Her mind. Back in Baltimore, young Virginia devoured spy novels. Now, she's living one. But the stakes? Real blood. Real death. In France, she's not just a spy. She's a legend. She organizes drops, planes roaring low at night, parachutes blooming like deadly flowers. Weapons, money, agents. She's the glue holding the Maquis together, the French resistance fighters in the hills. One drop goes wrong. Parachutes snag in trees. Germans swarm. Virginia leads the escape, hobbling through forests, barking orders in perfect French. Move. Or die. Men twice her size follow without question. Why? Because she's fearless. Or at least, she acts it. But fear gnaws at her now, in that Lyon apartment. Philippe paces. What if Dennis talked? He won't, she snaps. But doubt creeps in. Dennis, young and brave, but under Gestapo knives? Everyone breaks eventually. She thinks of her own close calls. Like the time in Vichy, posing as a journalist. A Gestapo officer eyes her limp. "Hurt yourself, mademoiselle?" "Hunting accident," she says coolly. He buys it. Barely. The B story deepens here. Her prosthetic, Cuthbert, isn't just a hindrance. It's a symbol. After the amputation, doctors said she'd never walk normally. She proved them wrong, striding into embassies, demanding work. When the U.S. wouldn't have her, Britain did. SOE Chief Maurice Buckmaster later said, "She was the best we had. Indomitable. Indomitable. That's the word." As Europe burned, Virginia crossed the Channel, infiltrated by submarine. Landed in Perpignan, 1941. Posed as a New York Post reporter. Built her network from nothing. Now, that network's crumbling. A traitor? Bad luck. Doesn't matter. Survival does. She huddles with Philippe, sketching an escape route on a napkin. Over the mountains to Spain. Neutral territory. But winter's coming. Snow in the Pyrenees. With her leg. Suicide. No choice. Outside, a car screeches to a halt. Boots on pavement. Virginia freezes. Gestapo? Philippe grabs a pistol. Go out the back. She hesitates. Leaving him means death for him. Staying means death for both. The door rattles. Pounding fists. Open up. Police. Her pulse thunders. Decision time. But to understand this moment, let's pull back further. The Gestapo's hunt for her isn't random. Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon, has her file. American bitch with limp. Find her. Kill her. Why so obsessed? Because she's costing them. Sabotaged trains. Blown ammo dumps. Hundreds of Germans dead because of her intel. Flash to her first big op, coordinating with Georges de Boudin, code name Elan. They arm the resistance. One night, a warehouse explodes in flames. Virginia watches from a hill, limp forgotten in the adrenaline rush. Success. But success breeds enemies. Back in the apartment, the pounding intensifies. Virginia slips to the back door, heart in her throat. Philippe covers her. Go. For France. She nods, slips into the night. Rain lashes her face. Limping faster now, pain be damned. Alleys twist like a maze. Sirens wail. She's alone. Exposed. Will she make it to the mountains? Or will the limping lady finally stumble? Cut to the B-story's core. What drives a woman to this? Rejection. Pain. Proving the world wrong. After losing her leg, she could have gone home, lived quietly. Instead, she charged into the inferno. In London, during training, she met other agents. Men who underestimated her. She outshot them, outsmarted them. Cuthbert's my secret weapon, she'd joke. Makes me unforgettable. Unforgettable. That's her curse now. Every poster screams her description. Dawn breaks gray and cold. Virginia reaches the outskirts of Lyon. A contact waits with a bicycle. She mounts it awkwardly, pedaling with one good leg. Miles to go. Gestapo checkpoints everywhere. Exhaustion claws at her. Hunger. But she pushes on. A patrol ahead. She veers into woods, branches whipping her skin. Hides behind a fallen log. Soldiers pass, chatting in German. Close enough to smell their cigarettes. Hold breath. Don't move. They fade away. Safe. For now. But the mountains loom. Treacherous paths. Blizzard warnings. And Barbie's men? Relentless. She's crossed into legend territory. The Maquis whisper her name like a prayer. La Dame Caboite. The lady who limps. Yet legends can die. Flashback to her arrival in France. Submarine surfaces off the coast. She rows ashore in darkness, waves crashing. Drags her gear up the beach, prosthetics sinking in sand. First contact, a farmer. You the American? She smiles. We. Let's get to work. Work meant danger. Recruiting locals. One wrong word, betrayal. Like Robert Alesh, a priest turned traitor. He infiltrated networks, sold out agents. Virginia smelled him out. Avoided him. But others weren't so lucky. Torture chambers in Montluc prison. Electric shocks. Waterboarding. Agents screaming names. Her name. Now, biking through countryside, she spots a farmhouse. Safe. Or trap. She knocks. An old woman answers. Resistance symbol in the window. A flower pot. Inside, warmth. Soup. Bandages for her blistered stump. You can't stay, the woman says. They're searching house to house. Virginia nods. Just till nightfall. Rest. But sleep. Impossible. Nightmares of capture. The B story ties in. Her leg wasn't her only wound. Lost love. Rumors of a French officer, but war leaves no room for romance. Only survival. As night falls, she sets out again. Guide waiting. Paul, a shepherd. The pass is guarded. We go high. Climbing starts. Rocks slick. Her leg slips. Pain shoots like fire. Grit teeth. Keep going. Wind howls. Snow flurries begin. Below, lights flicker. German patrols. One slip, and she tumbles into oblivion. Paul whispers. Almost there. But then, voices. Ahead. Ambush. Virginia's hand goes to her knife. Heart stops. What now? The limping lady, cornered in the peaks, with the Gestapo closing the noose. Will she escape? Or become another ghost in the snow? November 16, 1942. Pyrenees Mountains, French-Spanish border. Altitude, 7,800 feet. Temperature, 12 degrees and dropping fast. Virginia Hall is crawling on her belly through knee-deep snow, her wooden leg dragging behind her like an anchor. Her fingers are numb inside soaked gloves. Her breath freezes in front of her face. Every heartbeat feels like it might be the last. Paul, the shepherd guide, is 10 yards ahead, crouched behind a boulder. He raises a fist. Stop. Below them, on the only passable trail, flashlights bob in the darkness. German voices carry on the wind. A patrol. With dogs. Virginia presses her cheek to the ice. She can't feel Cuthbert anymore. The stump has gone from burning to nothing at all, which is worse. Frostbite is coming for her. She thinks, for the first time in years, about giving up. Just close her eyes. Let the snow take her. No more pain. No more running. Then she remembers Klaus Barbie's wanted poster back in Lyon. Die Hinkende Amerikanerin, 500,000 francs, tot oder lebendig. The limping American. 500,000 francs dead or alive. She grits her teeth so hard she tastes blood. Not today, you son of a bitch. She crawls forward. But to understand why this mountain might finally break her, we have to go back to the moment the Gestapo decided she was the single most dangerous Allied agent in France. Cut to the B story. Lyon, October 1942. Klaus Barbie, the 29-year-old SS captain later nicknamed the Butcher of Lyon, slams Virginia's file on his desk so hard the lamp jumps. Inside the folder. Photographs of blown bridges, lists of derailed trains, names of executed French collaborators. All traced to one woman. One limping woman. Barbie is young, handsome, and utterly without mercy. He personally waterboards prisoners until their lungs burst. He keeps a notebook of screams. He tells his men, "Find the bitch with the wooden leg. I want her alive. I want to break her myself." That order turns the entire Rhone Valley into a trap. Back on the mountain, Paul hisses, "They're moving off the trail. They smell us." Virginia hears it too, the frantic barking of Alsatians. The dogs have her scent. There's only one way left, straight up a 45-degree ice face that no sane person would attempt, let alone a one-legged woman in a blizzard. Paul looks at her like she's already dead. You can't. She's already tying her rucksack rope around her waist. Watch me. She starts climbing. Every push off the prosthetic sends lightning through her hip. The wooden foot finds no purchase on glare ice. She jams her gloved hands into cracks, hauls with arms that feel like they're tearing from the sockets. Halfway up, Cuthbert snaps. A sickening crack. The leather harness tears. The leg tumbles away into darkness. Virginia hangs one-handed from a rock, 2,000 feet above nothing, with only a bleeding stump below the knee. She screams, not in fear, but pure animal rage. Paul throws down the rope. She ties it under her arms. He pulls. She kicks with her good leg, smearing blood across the ice. They crest the ridge at 4 a.m., both collapsing in the snow on the Spanish side. Free. But not safe. Not yet. Flash back to the B story, the real reason the Gestapo never caught her. It wasn't luck. It was a network of ordinary French citizens who chose death over betrayal. There was the baker in Toulouse who swallowed his cyanide capsule rather than name her. The schoolteacher in Villeurbanne who hid her radio in a baby carriage while Gestapo tore the house apart. The prostitute in Lyon who distracted 2 SS officers with a bottle of cognac while Virginia slipped out the back. Every one of them knew, if the Limping Lady falls, half the resistance in southern France collapses. So they paid in blood to keep her breathing. Now, in a freezing barn outside Figueres, Spain, a farmer saws what's left of Cuthbert off at the knee and fits a crude crutch. Virginia drinks raw brandy and laughs, actually laughs, for the first time in months. "I've killed better legs than this with a shotgun," she tells the farmer in perfect Catalan. 2 days later she's on a British freighter out of Barcelona, hidden in a coal bunker, rats crawling over her as the ship horns blare. London, December 1942. She limps into SOE headquarters on Baker Street using a borrowed cane. The duty officer sees her and actually salutes. Buckmaster embraces her like a daughter. "You mad, beautiful creature. We thought you were dead." She drops a sack on his desk. Inside, 14 rolls of film, coded messages, maps of every Gestapo post from Marseille to Dijon. "Next time," she says, voice hoarse. "Send me sooner." They give her the George Medal. She refuses to wear it. Medals don't blow up trains. But she does accept one thing: a new leg. Aluminum, articulated ankle, made by the same London workshop that built Spitfire parts. She names it Cuthbert II. Now working for the American OSS, she's back in France, this time in the Haute-Loire, coordinating with the Maquis just before D-Day. Disguised as an old peasant milkmaid, humpbacked, gray hair, teeth blackened. Klaus Barbie is still hunting the Limping Lady. He will never know she's 50 miles away directing Jedburgh teams that kill 800 Germans in a single week and liberate an entire department before the first American tank rolls in. After the war, Barbie flees to Bolivia. Virginia tracks him, quietly, for decades. In 1983, when Nazi hunters finally drag him back to Lyon for trial, the prosecutor reads a victim impact statement from an anonymous American woman. It is 1 paragraph long. "I regret only that I was not there to pull the trigger myself." Barbie is sentenced to life. He dies in prison, terrified of a ghost with a wooden leg. Virginia Hall, the most decorated civilian woman of World War II, the only civilian woman to receive the Distinguished Service Cross, goes home to a farm in Maryland. She keeps bees. She never talks about the war. When journalists find her in the 1970s, she waves them off the porch with a shotgun. "I did what needed doing," she says. "That's all." She dies on July 8, 1982, at 76 years old. The CIA names a building after her. They still won't release half her files. And somewhere in the archives, locked away until 2040 or beyond, is the last radio message she ever sent from occupied France, transmitted with frostbitten fingers on a dying battery, just hours after crawling over the Pyrenees. "Many thanks for your help. Cuthbert is being a nuisance, but I can cope. See you soon, I hope. Love to all. Virginia." That was the Limping Lady. The Gestapo called her their most wanted. They never caught her. And they never will. Fade out on a single wooden leg, standing upright in fresh snow on a Pyrenees ridge, moonlight glinting off the broken harness strap. The wind howls. But the mountain is silent. She's already gone.